Hello students, this is Miss Moss, and today we're going to be doing Module 1, Lesson 3. It's a really fun lesson that uses exponents. So grab your notebook, your math notebook, and let's set up our page. Module 1, Lesson 3, today's date, which is going to be the 26th, August 26th. And this starts on page 25. So the pages today, 25 to 27, and then the homework is 29 to 30. In this lesson, there are also some templates that you can use on page 31, just one template. If that will help you, feel free to use this as a note-taking page, or you can rip it out and use it as well. So go ahead and put your name and date. And let's write in our notes what is exponential form. So exponential form is when you have numbers that have multiple zeros, you can write them as an exponent. So let's use the example that they list in the book. So they have the number 100. They say 100 equals 10 to the second. How you say this is you put a little, the word to there, 10 to the second. And how did they get that? They counted the zeros. There's 2 zeros. That's how they got 10 to the second. So if I were to write 1,000, what do you think that would be? That would be 10 to the third, because there's 3. And if I were to write, 10,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be 10 to the fourth. Okay, are you getting the pattern? So go ahead and start A through F. So you take the number and you write it as the exponent. I'll do the first one with you. How many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be 10 to the fourth. Okay, pause the video until you get to F and then restart it and we'll go over the answers. Okay, let's check our answers. 1,000 would be 10 to the 3, to the third. 10 times 10, there's 2 zeros, 10 to the second. 100 times 100, 4 zeros, 10 to the fourth. 1,000,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 to the sixth. And last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again, 10 to the 6th. If you got all of them right, give yourself a 6 out of 6. There were 6 just now. Okay, the next section is writing the exponential form into standard form. So you're basically going backwards. We just wrote them in exponential form with exponents, and now we're going to write them in standard form. So let's try. I'm gonna do this first one in my notebook. So the first one says 9 times 10 to the third. Okay, so I am just going to do 9 times 1 equals 9, and then I add 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3, and I add in my comma. So if you want to show your work in this notebook, you can. If you prefer to show your work on your own math notebook, that's also fine. Okay, so let me do a couple more with you, and then you will fill in the rest. Let's try one that has a decimal. So remember our lessons from the previous day. When we multiply by a base 10, the decimal number will get larger. So which way do we move the decimal point? If you forget, you can always just write write an example answer number above it. So if I want this number to get bigger, would I move it to the right or the left? So the answer is the right. I would need to move the decimal to the right. So that means I need to move this decimal to the right 3 spaces, 3 zeros. Let me write this larger. 1, 2, 3. Why 3? Because there were 3 zeros. So now the decimal will be over here. So my final answer is 4,025. You really do not need to write the decimal at the end because it's just obvious. If it's a whole number, the decimal goes there. Okay? That was a multiplication. Let's do one more together. Let's do H because that one is a division. So remember, if we want to move the decimal so the number gets smaller because we're dividing, that means we would move the decimal to the left. How many spaces? 2 spaces. Let me write this a little bit bigger. Okay, so I need to go 1, 2 spaces to the left, put in the decimal. What do I put right here? A 0. My final answer, 72 thousandths. Remember, this number is the same as this number. You can add a 0 before the decimal. Okay, pause the video and finish A through H. Okay, let's check your work. 39 times 1 is 39. Add in 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put in your comma. 72 times 1 is still 72. I have 2 zeros here. I'm putting them lightly because this one is dividing by 2 zeros. So that means I actually have to take off those 2 zeros again. So my answer is 72. All right, this one we are dividing, so it's going to get smaller again by 3 zeros. So I can just go from the end, because I know the decimal's over here right now. 1, 2, 3. Now the decimal is going to be right there. Let me write it in. Okay, you could write it like this, 7,200, or you can write it without the decimal and the 3 zeros. 7,200. Going over to F. So we have 4 zeros and it's getting larger. So I'm going to copy this number, 40 and 25 hundredths, and I'm going to add, or I'm going to count 4 zeros, 4 places to the right because it's getting larger. 1, 2, 3, 4. My decimal goes there, add in the zeros, decimal is taken away from there. My final answer looks like this. Put in your commas, 402,500. Okay, last one. I'm dividing. There's 2 zeros. It's going to get smaller, so I need to move it to the left 2 times. That means my decimal will be before the 7. It's going to look like this. Remember, this is the same answer as writing it without the 0. Same thing. Okay, good. All right, now answer 3 and 4 with a sentence because it says explain, explain. So you need to write a whole sentence. I will read them to you and then pause the video. Think about the answers to problem 2. Explain the pattern used to find an answer when you multiply or divide a whole number by a power of 10. So feel free to read that again to yourself and then answer in a complete sentence. And then number 4 says, think about the answers to problem 2. Oh, sorry, this one is E to H, and this one was A to D. Explain the pattern used to place the decimal in the answer when you multiply or divide a decimal by a power of 10. So you can see number 4 is about decimal placement. and number 3 is without decimals. Okay, pause the video until you're finished, then we'll go on. All right, so continuing on to 5, these are patterns. Now, the pattern that is occurring is either adding a 0, a base 10, or subtracting a base 10. So you have to see how is the decimal moving. So for example, I see that there are 2 places on this first number. Now there's just 1 place, and now over here it's in the tens already. So that must mean that this blank is just in the ones place. So I'm going to have you finish it by yourself. And same thing with this one. This one is decreasing. I can see that zeros are being taken away. In this one I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. In this one I count 4 zeros. So probably in this one there will be 3 zeros, or 3 place values. But perhaps it's decreasing by even more than that. I'm going to let you try to figure out the pattern. When you finish finding the patterns, it's asking you to explain with a sentence how you found these missing numbers and how you placed the decimal if they had a decimal. G says, explain how you found the unknown numbers in set D. Oh, sorry, I didn't read the B here. This one is for B. They're asking you, how did you do that? G is, how did you do D? Okay, then number 6, we have a word problem. Shawnee and Marlon missed the lesson on exponents. Shawnee incorrectly wrote 10 to the 5th equals 50 on her paper. And Marlon incorrectly wrote 2 and 5/10 times 10 to the 2nd as 2 and 500,000ths on his paper. What mistake has Shawnee made? Explain using words, numbers, or pictures why her thinking is incorrect and what she needs to do to her answer. What mistake has Marlon made? Explain using words, numbers, or pictures why his thinking is incorrect and what he needs to do to correct his answer. So pause the video and complete this page. Okay, we have arrived at the exit ticket. You guys are doing great. We are almost done with the lesson. Fill in your name and date. And this is kind of like a recap of the lesson. These first 2, can you write these numbers in exponential form? Here's your example. And the last 4, can you write these in standard form? And here is your example. This is standard form, and that is exponential form. Go ahead and pause the video and complete those. And finally, we have arrived at your 2 homework pages, 29 and 30. So again, this first section, we are writing our numbers in exponential form. That means it has an exponent. In the second part, we're doing the opposite. We're writing it from exponential form into the standard form. It will look like this. Then we have the bottom section, which is patterns, just like you did on the other page, trying to figure out how is the decimal moving. And then on the back page, we have 3 word problems. Okay, we have 4, 5, and 5 has 2 parts, A and B. All right, go ahead, pause the video, and go ahead and begin your homework. Great job, everyone.